That was pain. That was by far the worst roller coaster I've ever been on. What up, Sens fans? It's Hainsey Hockey, and for those of you who are new to this channel, I am not too familiar with the way Sens fans roll. This game against the Toronto Maple Leafs we just had is the perfect example of being a Sens fan. You get all the emotions that come with every single game. You get a tease, alright? Looks like they're going to come back and they're going to be strong and they're going to win. You get disappointment, you get stupid penalties and turnovers. Not everything from this game was necessarily terrible or bad. There were points of this game where the Sens outplayed the Leafs and were clearly the better team. And there were points where Toronto was clearly the better team. The issue was that Toronto was consistently the better team, and when Ottawa got rolling, great, they dominated, but once they weren't dominating, it was so hard for them to get back into the game. Starting goaltenders, you had Anton Forsberg, who has been a really solid pickup on waivers. We've had plenty of goaltending problems in Ottawa, alright, Murray was hurt, Hoagie got hurt, and then Jacord, who looked like he was going to be the next Hamburglar and everything, he got hurt too, and so we were left with Forsberg and Gustafsson. And Gustafsson had pretty well. He's back in Belleville, or he's on the taxi squad. Forsberg seems to be the guy for now until both our starters, Murray and Hogberg, are back in. Forsberg today, before I even get into the actual review of the game, Forsberg played out of his mind today. There were a lot of times where he was left alone, out to dry in front of the net. And honestly, I know the score is high, it's 6-4, but it could have been a lot worse if you didn't have Forsberg in that. The first period, the Senators came out of the gate really strong. They had lots of pressure. Connor Brown was looking for a goal, man. He was putting 110% out every single shift, but in the first, it was noticeable. He was there. He was there before a lot of the other Senators players showed up, if you know what I mean. Early into the first period, I realized this right away. The Senators are definitely missing Austin Watson's physicality. Austin Watson may not be the goal scorer that every team wants, but he is a solid penalty killer, and he is not afraid to throw himself into the action. He blocked shots, literally diving headfirst sometimes into those shots. His most recent injury was caused by a blocked shot, which he left to the locker room and then came back in the game and played the rest of the game. This guy is a monster. There's a reason. I love the fact that Dorian brought him in. You're definitely missing that physicality, that intimidating presence on the team, besides Brady Tkachuk. So this is where I started seeing the transition between good shift and a bad shift. For example, the defense in our own zone early in the first period was atrocious, and if it wasn't for Forsberg, I think it would have been 1-0 really earlier on than it was. Connor Brown had a nice little race with Jake Muzzin who would get the puck, and his effort, man. Connor Brown, very underrated forward in the league. Tkachuk had a shot that went wide, and why am I talking about a shot that went wide? This is just a little fun fact. With that shot, Brady Tkachuk now leads all NHL players in the league for shots. I think that's kind of impressive considering you play on the Ottawa Senators, who are not necessarily known for scoring goals. He also leads the league in hits, which, it's also kind of a sweet flex. Senators had some solid pressure, and right when they were breaking out, pressure dissipated because Erik Gudbranson turned the puck over to, guess who? Marner, who sends it to Austin Matthews and makes it 1-0 Toronto. And then it would only take, 37 seconds later or so for Austin Matthews to score again from, his buddy Mitch Marner. That goal was Mike Riley's fault. He was way out of position, but what are you going to do? The Senators' confidence at this point was super shaky. They did not look like they were playing very well together at all. Their chemistry was off, and the only person holding the fort down was Anton Forsberg, which you're going to hear me say a lot because he was one of the redeeming qualities and factors of this game for the team. The rest of the first period, Toronto was definitely the better team. I mean, the Sens did have some good chances and some good momentum set up, but I will point out, though, I was very impressed, and I have been very impressed with Clark Bishop's play. Very solid fourth-line center. Clark Bishop is going to make the trade deadline interesting. He'll make the expansion draft interesting, or even the Belleville roster interesting. He's proven that he could be a reliable fourth-liner in this league, and has outplayed Artem Anisimov, in my opinion, who's supposed to be a veteran. That concludes the first period. Next, we head into the second. We start the second period with a power play, and I'm pretty excited. I'm like, oh my god. Maybe we can finally capitalize on this. Maybe, just because it's Toronto, right? Maybe Dadonov, he can work some magic, or Batherson, maybe Stutzla, somebody on the power play. Let's get something going. No, we got the drop pass power play trick doesn't work. I've been screaming about this since the start of the season, and it got worse today. There's just something, when the drop pass doesn't work to begin with. Your solution shouldn't be to keep doing the drop pass, but the guy receiving the drop pass skates even slower than he's supposed to be. The amount of times they just iced it all the way back down the ice and Forsberg had to deal with it was embarrassing. There was may be one setup on that whole power play that I remember. For the good start of the second period, again, the Leafs were the better team. The Sens were not playing great. They had sloppy passes, couple turnovers. Stutzla's line there with Amadio on it, they had really, really, really good momentum on this one shift. And it didn't matter what happened. Whenever the puck was in Ottawa zone, they managed to get it into Toronto zone. The only issue was they didn't capitalize on it. They couldn't set anything up. The puck would just go flying to a Leafs player or just get turned over. So that was a little frustrating to watch because you see the momentum, but nothing happening with that momentum. It's just like, what are you guys doing? That's always an issue I've had with the Senators, even during the Alfredsson era and the Karlsson era. I always found they waited too long to shoot. They always tried to have the nice, fancy play. And this Senators team, all right, I guess you want to call it the Tkachuk era, the Chabot era, they're getting better at trying to make the simple plays than they were at the start of the season. But you got to know what you're working with your team here. You can do the fancy plays when you have loads of superstar talent, but we're still rebuilding. So this is a trend I've been seeing in every game. And then there's this crazy sequence in the second period. Right, Ottawa decided to wake up. Like, holy shit, we're actually playing a hockey game. Now, there would be an opportunity for Toronto to score in Ottawa's zone. It would be denied. And not too much longer after that, Tim Stutzla, empty net, all right? It's a wide open net. Campbell's on the other side. He rips the shot right in front of the net. And he hit the post. But Batherson knocked it in. And just like that. It's 2-1. It was 2-1. Stutzla gave me a mini heart attack there. But Batherson was there to get the rebound, so I'm really happy about that. Let's go, boys. And the Senators would follow up that goal with a penalty. Great, but it actually was great because rookie Alex Formenton, shortly having a power play starts, finds Jake Muzzin lollygagging at the blue line, manages to pick the puck away, chip it up front, has a breakaway all the way down, scores a short-handed goal on Jack Campbell for his third of the season, and Alex Formenton ties the game at 2. And I'm just kind of stunned. I'm like, what? Forsberg looked great, and Brown and Formenton were still looking for the back of the net. There's a face-off in the Leaf zone, and Amadio is at the face-off circle. And he manages to win face-off, which is surprising because Ottawa really sucks in the face-off circle. But he sends it to Tim Stutzla right away, who's like at the back where the defense should be. Quick little one-timer shot that goes right past Jack Campbell. Nobody even saw it go in. It was that quick. Oh my god, all of a sudden, it's 3-2 Ottawa. Everyone in the Leafs was like, what? They had no idea what just happened. And I cheered so loudly. It was like, yes, we could humiliate the Leafs. Finally, we're gonna crush Jack Campbell's streak. Like, oh, dude, I was ready to party. I was in the greatest mood. And then, that one goal lead there by Stutzla from Amadio, just gone. Did not take very long for Mitch Marner. Big surprise to score and tie the game at 3. Oh, and then guess who scores right after that to make it 4-3 for Toronto? Wait, what? Austin Matthews scores a hat trick? Oh my god. That one was Chabot's fault. He was not in the right spot, and he tipped the puck over, which gave it to Marner instead. It was bad. Within the span of like 10 minutes or so, it went from 2-0 to 2-1, 2-2, 3-2, 3-3, 4-3, and then it ends. The period ends, and we're going into the third. That Senators' third period was really, really strong, actually. They played pretty evenly matched. They had some sloppy plays, but that just comes with every period. Mikheyev would score and make it 5-3 for the Maple Leafs. That was Ottawa's defense fault. There was like no defense there. I don't know what they were doing. Now, there were some sloppy passes, but the momentum started to come back. The passing came back. The chemistry came back. This team, you could feel the comeback trying to come out. So even though Mikheyev scored, though, made it 5-3, that lead would get cut down to 1 not too much later after that, as Connor Brown finally pots that goal he's been looking for all game to make it 5-4. And this is an important goal for another reason. The reason this goal is important is because Connor Brown set a franchise record today for most consecutive goals in consecutive games. Drake Batherson tied the franchise record with 6, which I think is previously held by Jason Spezza. And he did that a couple months ago, or maybe a couple of weeks ago, scoring 6 goals in 6 games. But Connor Brown has officially broken it with 7 goals in 7 games. And that's something we can take away from this game tonight and feel good about, as Connor Brown has been on a hot streak and he's been tearing it up. And I loved his little goal celebration there. He was mocking Mitch Marner's from earlier in the game, but you could tell he was probably pretty pumped about beating that record. And now his name will forever be a part of Senators franchise history. It's pretty cool. Dadonov will get the assist on that, by the way, as I went on my completely random tangent. Now the Leafs would end up getting an empty netter from Hyman to make it 6-4. In the third, things were really starting to ramp up. Brady Tkachuk and Thomas Chabot had a good chance together that they set up. Amadio almost tied the game. Formenton and Dadonov were also eyeing the back of the net and were playing pretty well, creating some opportunities. Dadonov's got some nice hands, man. He was flexing them today. He was skating around people all the time. And Norris would get a goal with like 20 seconds left. They pulled the goalie. It was 6-5. And then DJ Smith called the timeout. I was like, dude, why didn't you call a timeout before you pulled Forsberg the first time? Why are you only calling a timeout when there's 18 seconds left? Oh, because it's a tie game? Maybe we would have scored a goal earlier if you'd called a timeout earlier, but whatever. That's an L. Senators lose 6-5. How ironic. So what this does for Ottawa as a hockey club is this is our last game before the trade deadline on Monday. So Dorian's got to be looking super carefully at this roster and trying to figure out what he can sell, what's everyone worth, and like would there be interest. Josh Brown has barely played and hasn't looked too decent when he has. Ryan Dzingel has been scoring like crazy since he came to Ottawa, but apparently there's no interest in him either. So like I don't know what you're going to do there. Dorian can take that information and use it to his advantage, because he's taking notes through the entire game. I don't know, Sims fans, this is going to be a very interesting deadline. Yeah, because this isn't the expectation that the Senators had for this season. Pierre Dorian and Eugene Melnyk, we talked about it, and so did even Brady Tkachuk at the start of the season. This team was trying to focus on making the playoffs. And then they went on their like 1 game in 14 games that they won. I don't know, I've found in the last few games that we've watched that our guys who come up from the AHL or guys who are never considered, they've been playing super well. Like look at Clark Bishop, look at Amadio, and the young guys too, like Stützle and Norris. Right? I find the veterans are the ones kind of lacking in terms of production. I don't know how much we're going to sell, how much we're going to get back. I don't know if we're going to try and improve team at all to get a little bit of a respectable record. Yes, this is that was our last game for the trade deadline, and I'm not sure how many guys impressed other GMs out there to be like, yeah, you're gonna make my team a contender. Like I don't know how many people are genuinely impressed by what they saw. So to sum things up, I just ranted about how miserable this game was, but I just gotta remember, they gotta work on that finish. They got to work on holding the lead, and they got to work on not choking. Because this is a very familiar sight that happened a lot this season. So that's it for this video, guys. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, share it with your friends. I'm going to try and make a video about the Sens deadline moves, but it all really depends on school. We're in finals right now, and just things are a little complicated. But if not, I will do a little something for it. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video. Go Sens, go! Also, Zach Bogosian is just, like, a wimp, dude. He's the biggest wimp I've ever seen in the NHL. He makes Sidney Crosby look like a pro boxer.